Hello, everyone. We haven't done one of these in a little while, so I am sorting out all the tech, but I think I'm winning. Yeah, looks like we're good here. I've got the questions on my laptop. Can see you guys there. Well, I can see myself, but I mean, you guys can see me there. Sound seems good. And we already have our first questions coming in. So hello, everyone, and welcome to the I think this is the first live of 2023. Sorry, we probably should have done some up until this point, but we've been focusing on getting our video count up on YouTube, and we are at 3 videos a week now. We're aiming for 4, and then the fifth day of the week will be taken up by a live. That's the plan. It relies on me sort of staying in the country and not getting COVID and a bunch of other things. But yes, the idea is to do a live a week. So, but don't, I can't promise right now. We're trying. But I know everyone likes these lives, and I'm super happy to do them. I really enjoy them. I love trying to help and answer your questions. So please do join in the fun. Drop your questions in the chat. I can see them live on my side, on my computer, and I will do my best to help you. So we already have 57 people on the stream, so that's pretty cool. I'm sure lots more people will be joining us, but let's get stuck into the questions. Welcome to Cars.co.za. I'm Ciro De Siena, and this is a live broadcast. Let's go. All righty. Yusuf Peterson, can't have food for lunch, you're fasting. Good luck with the fast. I admire you very much for fasting. It's very challenging. But some churro for lunchtime. That's nice to hear. Thanks very much. Vaneshri Naika. Hi, Churro. Hope you're well. Please do a video review of the Toyota Vitz when it comes for test. We need more budget car content because I love the budget car drag races. Yeah, I'm so glad you did. A lot of people seem to really like them. The Toyota Vitz is just a rebadged Suzuki Celerio. So hopefully we'll get both at the same time, and we can point out the differences, of which I'm sure there will not be many, but as soon as we get it, we'll film it. Yusuf says he loves the budget car drags. Thank you so much. Bayon Galant says, I love drag racing. So do we. Clip, hi Chiro, glad I crossed this live. Hi Clip, how you doing? Thanks for joining. Wayne Buerta, are you back in South Africa? Yes, the M2 video that came out last week, I filmed that. When was I in America? I think I was in America the middle of March. Yeah, I landed in America on the 13th of March, but then BMW put a embargo on the M2 coverage for the whole world. So that's why you saw all the YouTube channels around the world release their videos yesterday or the day before. The embargo ended on midnight on Sunday. So I filmed it then, but we had to wait till now to release it. So hope you enjoyed it. Right, where are we here? Grant Freeze, hello Chiro, best used car to buy instead of a Polo. Price 450K, used car. Must still be able to give good service for 150,000 kilometers more. What would I buy for 450K? Used car. I think I'd get into something like a Toyota RAV4, maybe the diesel. Actually, I helped a friend with this yesterday. Maybe the diesel, if you do long distance, should save you some money on fuel. I'd look at a Mazda CX-5. You can actually get new CX-5s, the lowest spec one, for 450K. Maybe a used Nissan X-Trail. Maybe a used Tiguan, perhaps. Although not really my favorite, but something in that segment, and if you go on our app and if you go on our or our website, you can set your price bracket that you're searching in, so you can narrow it down to that price band and then search for a car. But I think that's sort of where my money would go. I hope that helps you. Trishan Naidu, hello, how's it, Trishan? Nirvashan, Hello, Chiro. I hope you're doing well. I know I've been pestering you guys, and I'm sorry for this, but please do. It's fine. You don't have to be sorry. Please do a video review of the new GR Supra manual. It will make my year. Nevershan, I know you've asked a lot. I see your comments on the YouTube channel. Don't worry. Look, I can't make magic happen. Unfortunately, if Toyota gives us a car, we'll shoot it. They haven't given us a car yet. I don't think there's any GR Supras available in the media fleets in South Africa. So the thing is, we can get from dealerships, right? It's not impossible. The problem is that dealerships have very different insurance to the insurance that the manufacturers have. So that's why we prefer to shoot manufacturers' cars, because just in case something goes wrong, everyone is covered. In the case of a dealership, you potentially, if something goes wrong, you're potentially making life very difficult for that dealer, because now the dealer can't now sell that car, and it's going to sit for a while it waits for parts and stuff and insurance assessment, all the rest of it. So only in special cases we try to get cars from dealers. We really don't like using private cars, because that's even more risk and more insurance complications. So generally we wait for a manufacturer to make a car available to us. Cars.co.za is generally number one on the media list. We get the cars first. So as soon as a media car is available, we will shoot it. Right. Darth Trotter, any more budget drags? Definitely. I definitely want to shoot some more budget drags. We're trying to source some more cars at the moment. Vincent Follion. Hi, Chiro. I would just like to find out if you would recommend the Ford Fiesta Titanium Auto. I really like the car, but would like to find out from you if it is reliable or if there are any cons. Look, I mean, anecdotally speaking, I haven't heard any terribly negative stories. Actually, to be honest, I haven't heard any stories about the Ford Fiesta. I know they had that 1-liter engine, which seems to have proved itself. It's been around for a long time. It's been in the EcoSport for like 10 years. Again, over the years, I haven't heard of problems with it. Maybe I've just missed it, but usually people talk to me about their problems. I'm like an agony aunt of motoring. So I usually hear these things, but I just haven't heard. Look, I think in terms of reliability, it's so difficult to say. I mean, this is the number one question I get asked, and it's a really difficult one to answer. I mean, to be honest with you, I think like BMWs are unreliable, but no one's going to stop buying a BMW because they're unreliable. So I think what you've just got to do is protect yourself from a cash shock, like a financial shock, by just putting a good aftermarket warranty on the car or extending the manufacturer's warranty. I think any modern car, to be honest, any car under 10 years old, you'll get a warranty up to 15 years. I would put a warranty on it. There's companies like Dotshire which do warranties. If you just Google aftermarket warranty South Africa, there's SA Warranty, a couple of other companies. Dotshire, I think, starts at 300 Rand a month. So, for me, it's worth it. If something major goes on the car, at least you have some protection. In terms of reliability, there's definitely some manufacturers are worse than others, and some are better than others. But I don't know. I think it's more about making sure that the specific car you're looking at has been looked after. I think that's more important. Right. Sinetemba, how's it? Hello, Chiro, please help. Can I sell my luxury for a good price? The offers I've been receiving are not happy. Your luxury, what? Just says your luxury. Maybe just drop me another comment there. Nevershan, will you guys do a drag race of the drag and track of the new GR Corolla, Civic Type R and Golf 8R? What a great idea. We will certainly try. Clip, hi Chiro, what's your opinion on the new Mahindra Scorpio N? Funnily enough, we filmed it yesterday. I spent all day in it yesterday, and I was very impressed. Look, it's not perfect. It's got a couple of packaging issues. It's got a couple of comfort and convenience issues, like the rear bench can't come out. It's just sort of in your way, the third row of seats, which is, for me, quite problematic. And it doesn't have a parcel shelf, which is also quite problematic. But I mean, other than that, I think an incredible car at that price, and not just like a good car at the price. It's like a good car for a good price, and if you're looking for an adventure SUV on a budget, I mean, it's like 300,000 Rand cheaper than a Toyota Fortuner. You can buy one of those and buy, I don't know, something else, two for the price of one. So yeah, no, I was pretty impressed. I think it's definitely the best Mahindra product I've driven. I haven't driven the XUV 700. Apparently that's quite good as well. But this thing, yeah, it impressed me. So our video is coming out soon. Daryl, how's it, Daryl? Hey, sure, I'm looking at a second-hand 330D. Are there any real concerns I should be worried about in terms of reliability? Yeah, Daryl, as you probably heard me saying to the other viewer, I think it's more about making sure that the specific car you're looking at has been well looked after. So, pull the service history, look for comments on the warranty if it's had any warranty work done. If it's out of warranty, check where it's been serviced. If you can, try get under the car. You always learn so much about a car if you can get under it. So ask them if you can have the car inspected. They should allow for it. If they don't, it's a little bit of a red flag. Look, I understand some dealers don't want their cars to leave the showroom unnecessarily, but if you're buying private, I think it's fair and reasonable to ask if you can have the car professionally inspected at your expense. If I'm not mistaken, those 330D motors, I think it was the same motor they put in the X5, and they had quite a good reputation. It's a very torquey motor. I remember a good friend of mine had one. I was impressed by how fast it was. Sheesh, it was fast. Really, really quick car. Nice car to drive, actually. I would just proceed with caution. Buying any high-powered German car comes with the problems associated with buying high-powered German cars, basically. Darth Trotter, the Fat M. Did I lose my train of thought? What were we talking about? Let me see if I can scroll up. The Fat M. Okay, I'm not sure what you're referring to there. Dean Williams, any review of the Omoda coming up? Yeah, I'm going to look at one tomorrow, and then we'll hopefully film it next week. There's one at if you want to go see one for yourself and you're in Cape Town, there's one at SMG Century City. Sipo Setu, hi Ciro, hello. Trishan, thoughts on the 2022-2023 Duster? Yeah, my colleague has one, Gero. He loves it. He really, really likes his Duster. I have some experience of it. For me, there's a difference between, I suppose, what I get to experience. I drive the car for a while and give it back, compared to owning the car. But my experience of driving the car, they gave one to me for a month, was I actually really liked it. It's a good drive. It's torquey. It's very efficient. The dual clutch box in the Duster is not great. I'm not sure I would live with it. But if you really don't want a manual, it's not a terrible option, but it's a little bit sluggish. I had a manual, a diesel, and I really enjoyed it. So I wouldn't mind dailying something like that. Very practical car as well. And good on gravel, too. Percival, hi, Ciro. Good to have you back. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much. James Boy, is Mercedes-Benz a luxury car trying to be a sports car and BMW a sports car trying to be a luxury car? It's funny, I actually saw that in a TikTok video, and I put that line in our Mercedes-Benz C-Class review a few weeks back. And yeah, I think it's such a good description. It really is. I think, over the years, Mercedes have put luxury first and BMW has put sport first. And now they're sort of crossing over, and, you get your AMG cars, and you get your M cars, you get your luxury Beamers and your luxury Mercs. But yeah, I think that's pretty good summary of those two brands. Yusuf, we want to see more of your FD. Maybe at the end of the live stream, I'll walk out with the phone and I'll show you. But yeah, we're going to be filming that car as well. It took me a while to get it right. It's a really difficult car to look after, but it's actually now running really nicely. So we're going to be doing some more content on it soon. Smiles per gallon. Are we ever going to get the Golf R MK8? Just heard the price announcement got delayed. SMH, which I think is youth speak for shaking my head. Yeah. Funnily enough, we are interviewing the head of VW tomorrow in a podcast. We'll publish that next week. And I'm going to ask her about Golf 8. So stick around for that. Hopefully we get the official word on what's happening. Sipo said to, what's your take on discontinuing of Ford EcoSport, urban cruisers, and others, and impact on their trade-in values. Yeah, look, these things happen, EcoSport's been around for a long time. Something strange happened in India. Ford, I don't know, Ford just like up and left. They sold everything in India, which is where the car was being made. The European factory where they were making it, I think, also discontinued making it. It's an old model. In terms of resale value, I think that it's not like Chevrolet, right? So like, it's not like the brand's gone. They haven't left South Africa. So, parts availability shouldn't be a nightmare, hopefully. So I don't know. I can't see secondhand values being affected too much by that. Trying to think if there'd be another reason. Look, I think the urban cruiser, will still fit strong. I mean, it's got a Toyota badge on the nose, which South Africans love, obviously. And I think the EcoSport is actually not a bad car. I think it's aged pretty well. So they should be okay on the used car market. But you know what? If their values drop and you can pick one up for a bargain, I don't think that's a bad thing either. Unless you own one right now, then it's probably a bad thing. Mother City Guy, hi, awesome show. Thanks, man, or lady. David Taylor, Golf 8R pricing will be released next week. Okay, there we go. There's an update from my colleague. 8R, already seen one with SA plates. Yeah, we filmed one. When did we film one? Last year, actually. Like a year ago now, we filmed the 8R. You can see those videos on our channel. So I got to experience it a long time ago. There are a few running around. There's a few being handed out to the press, which makes me think that a launch is imminent. OJ, can you ask the head of VW if EVs are the future? Ask her about biofuel, please. Is ICE engine ready dead? Okay, sure. In the meantime, if you go on our channel and you look for the podcast, go look at the one I did with the head of Audi, Sasha Soer. He spoke a lot about ICE versus EV and when Audi ICE vehicles will be available. I think he said they'll stop selling Audi ICE vehicles in South Africa in 2036, if memory serves. But it's a good one to watch while you wait for the VW one to come out. Mzwandile, how's it? Hey, Ciro, I love your job. Thanks, man. You want to swap? You're just superb, and no, I'm not going to ask a favor after this lol. Okay. All right. Thanks, man. I appreciate the kind words. Eugene, how's it? Any chance of seeing you behind the wheel of the Alfa Romeo Tonale for a cheeky review soon? We went on the launch and then we never got a test car. I think we must ask for one because I would like to film it. Not very often that Alphas hit the market. So we'll try. We'll get the team on it. Mother City Guy, review my buddy's Alpha GTV 3-liter V6. We do have a V6 film. We actually have 2 V6 films, GTV6 films on the site, I think. Just check the channel. We have filmed it before. I sadly haven't driven one, unfortunately. Even though Cars.co.za owns one, but it's in Joburg. It's Clip. It's sad that the Mazda 3 MPS died away. I really loved it. Yeah, the MPS was cool. It was like, that thing was mad. I mean, it just torque steered itself into the trees. It was fun. It was sort of a wild hot hatch that I actually really liked it. Mazda went in a very different direction, I suppose. They realized where their bread was buttered. SUVs. They just went full SUV. I mean, the Mazda 3, the latest one, is a fantastic car. And I think it just gets overlooked because people just buy, a CX-5 or a CX-30 or whatever the case is. But yeah, I also miss the 3 MPS. Sashimi Please. Excellent name. Hi, Ciro, fan from the Philippines. How's it? Hopefully I get to see your country one day. Ashley Oldfield. Waiting for a shipment to arrive. No Tonale stock available for the media to drive yet. There we go. That's the word from my colleague. Mother City guy is talking to Clip, and he has a 3 MPS for sale. You see, this is what we do here. We connect people on Cars.co.za. Or Abile, I want to see a drag race between the Tiguan R and the Golf 8R. That's like your brother punching you in the face. I don't really see the point. But I mean, people would probably watch it. So if we could film it, we'd probably film it. Alexander, how are you, brother? I'm all right. What's your view regarding the Range Rover Sport SDV6 2017 model? Just worried about the engine failure problems like crankshaft snapping. Wow, that's quite an exciting problem. Yeah, look, I don't think it's any secret that modern Land Rover, Range Rover products are quite finicky cars to look after. My experience with the modern Defender has been poor, to be honest. The first one gave us problems, and the second one, we had a piece of it actually flew off the car, literally like a piece of bodywork. So, yeah, I don't know. The brand, I love their products. They're beautiful to drive. I just drove the latest Discovery with that new 3-liter diesel engine, probably the best diesel engine I've ever experienced in my entire life. Beautiful car, beautiful interior. I just personally would be quite scared to own a used Land Rover product. And this is coming from someone who would love to own a Discovery 4. Like that car really floats my boat. I'd love to own one as an SUV. It was one of the first test cars I ever had. And I've got great memories of it. And I love it as a product. But in terms of its reliability and its ease to fix and its cost to fix, yeah, challenging cars to own. I have a friend who owns 2 Freelander 2s, and he really likes those. But I think he's done the maths and he's phoned around, and I think he found out that Porsche parts and servicing is cheaper than Land Rover parts and servicing. So yeah, they can be tricky to look after. Just proceed with caution, I would say. Gareth, how's it? Your thoughts on Haval currently? Why these questions jump every time I go look at them? I have had a few issues on my new H6, ranging from poor fuel economy, wheel bearing fault on one of the wheels, which was from factory. Oh, that's not nice to hear. Look, I think that in my experience, the Chinese cars, generally speaking, are a bit heavier on fuel than their equivalent, than their peers. So I think that's sort of to be expected. I mean, by poor fuel economy, what do you mean? Is it like 15 to 100? Is it 12 to 100? I mean, maybe give me a bit more info there. The wheel bearing fault's not bad, not great. Look, I'm not going to sit here and try and defend something like that, but I think the reality is that, and you can probably ask, a company like Volkswagen this, when you start selling a lot of cars, statistically, the chance of some of those cars going wrong goes up. And Haval is not a niche player anymore. I think they're 5th in the country. I think they sell more passenger cars than Ford and Nissan, but Nissan and Ford sell Navaras and Rangers. So they're still bigger than Haval. But I think in terms of passenger cars, if I'm not mistaken, Haval is like 3rd in SA. So when you get that big, you're going to have issues. Now, obviously, you don't care about that. You care about the fact that your car has had to go in for a service and probably was off the road for a while, and that's very inconvenient. And I hope they gave you a courtesy car. I've heard whispers here and there of people having problems with their Havals, but I haven't heard like an avalanche of problems with the Havals. In my experience driving them, they feel like well put together cars. But at the end of the day, I drive the cars for a couple of days and I give them back. So I'm not sure what it's like to own one long term. And I rely on feedback from you guys, from the audience. But, I think I remember a situation with a friend of mine, her aunt, and she had a Ford Kuga and the radio melted itself to death. Luckily, not the whole car, just the radio. And it was like a 6-month issue and no one could fix it. And eventually this technician in PE got the car right and it was sent to PE and all the rest of it. But, I think problems happen with cars. The issue, the number one thing for me is how it's dealt with, how you're looked after as a customer. what that after sales service is like. In the case of this person with this Ford, it was terrible. That was from the dealer she was dealing with. In your case, hopefully it was better. It's buying a car. There's always a risk with buying a car. Buying a new car is the lowest risk. Buying an old car from a private seller is probably the highest risk. Or actually, buying from auction is probably the highest risk. But there is always a chance you're going to buy a car and something's going to go wrong. So I'm sorry it happened to you, and I hope it was dealt with fairly and quickly as well. And please keep the feedback coming. Sipo said to please ask the head of VWSA, why do they have to sell carpets as extras? Okay, I'll try to remember that. How's your Scooby doing? I remember you had a little smoke where you said you were going to look into it. So when I got the car, it was smoking quite a bit. I put in better oil, and the smoke pretty much went away. Every now and then I see it, but very little at all. I think it's early signs of a head gasket. So I'm just keeping an eye on it. But actually, currently the car is running really well. I'm pretty much dailying it, and I'm loving it. It's such a great daily. It's enough fun. It's plenty fast enough for the real world. I'm just really enjoying that car. Bang for buck for what I paid for it. I'm not sure what I could have bought that I could be having as much fun in, So I'm very, very happy with that purchase. Oralabile, should people buy the new RS3 or buy the previous gen RS3? The new one didn't blow my socks off. Hey? I'm not really sure why. They sent us a strange spec. It was like, the car looked weird. Didn't look particularly special. We didn't get that Hulk green one that looked like an angry Smartie. So I don't know. I wouldn't mind a second go in the RS3. I wouldn't mind maybe taking one around the track. I like the previous one. I like the one before that as well, actually. I think I'd happily own an RS3 and daily an RS3. No matter which one you buy, you're probably going to enjoy it, to be honest. They're quite characterful cars. But for some reason, I don't know, that the new one just didn't give me the fizz. It's difficult to put my finger on why. But yeah, that's just my feeling, But again, if you gave me an RS3 and you're like, hey man, drive this every day, I'd be stoked, A new one or an old one, actually. Any verdict on the new Civic? Any news when the Type R will be available? I don't know Type R availability. Maybe one of my colleagues who's watching will know. But we had a Civic on test, and I think I was away that week, and I didn't drive it, and I regret that. But all of my colleagues said that they were very impressed with the new Civic. It was really good. So I respect their opinion and I take their word for it. So it's if you're looking for a nice sedan, I think it is something you should consider and definitely at least go and test drive it. Sure, I love your Scooby. Thanks, man. Nivashan, hanging around for the broadcast. Does performance cone air filters help with the performance, or does it decrease the performance of the car lower down in the rev range? Look, generally speaking, from what I understand, and I'm not big on modifying cars, even though I have a fat turbo rotary and a supercharged Mazda MX-5. From what I understand, usually or traditionally, manufacturers would be quite restrictive with the design of the intake and be quite restrictive with the branches and the exhaust. And obviously, manufacturers are tuning their cars mostly for reliability, right? Because you don't want a car to keep coming back to the shop. You want to get a bad reputation. So generally speaking, you can liberate a little bit more power out of your car quite easily by fitting a less restrictive intake. And you should, with maybe a tune, you should get a little bump in performance. However, keep in mind that sometimes these cheaper air filters, they have a sort of a substance, like a sort of an oil on them, and that oil can affect your mass airflow sensor. So you could put one of these cones on and just create another problem as well. That actually happened to me when I was younger, and that was diagnosed as the problem. So keep that in mind. But yeah, I mean, it depends what you're modifying, you know. If you're modifying a V10 Audi RS6, probably not a great idea. If you're modifying an old Toyota Corolla with a cone filter, probably less to go wrong, you know. Magritte, hi there. Hi from Namibia. Oh, hello. A bit late to the party. Cherry 4, Mahindra XUV 300, Suzuki Vitara Brezza. What would be our family car? Lots of drive around town, but also family trips, obs, fuel efficient. The only car of those three I haven't driven is the Mahindra, and I'm quite sad about it because I would really like to drive that Mahindra because it generally gets very good reviews. Look, I don't think you can go too wrong with any of those cars. The Cherry and the Mahindra will probably give you a little bit of a better experience in terms of ride quality and road noise than the Vitara Brezza. The Vitara Brezza, at the end of the day, is it's a fairly budget car, right? And there's not, you know, if you drove them back to back, you might pick up a difference. If you didn't drive them back to back, you'll probably think the Vitara Brezza is fine. But you will probably get a slightly more luxurious ride and feel out of the other two cars. For efficiency, yeah, you can't beat the diesel. But however, the petrol in the Vitara Brezza is very, very efficient. It's just quite low down on torque. So when your car is going to be fully loaded, you might want to be in the diesel, which has that, you know, that extra torque and can get you up hills a little bit easier and overtake on the highway a little bit easier. The Cherry 4 for me is a really good car for the money in the sense that it comes packed with options. In my experience, it's a little thirstier than its rivals, so that might be something to consider. But you know, there's a great warranty on that car, and after I drove the Tiggo 4 and the Tiggo 7 and the Tiggo 8, I was really impressed with those cars. In fact, I actually think, generally speaking, they're slightly better spec'd and better put together than the equivalent Havals. That's just my personal opinion. But I think I'd probably take a chance on the Cherry brand if it was my money. But like I say, with those three cars, I don't think you can go wrong. You will probably just get the best combination of power and fuel economy from the Mahindra. So I hope that helps. Andrew Smith, hi. Used Golf 7.5 GTI, worth finding one with adaptive dampers. Yeah, look, the adaptive dampers, if you really enjoy throwing your car through corners, you will be slightly faster than one without adaptive dampers. The nice thing, obviously, about adaptive dampers is that you can have it comfortable or you can have it sporty, and you can flick between the two. If you're going to keep the car for a long time, there is the risk of the replacement cost. Of course, adaptive dampers are not cheap. I don't know how much they cost, but they're generally not cheap, so keep that in mind. Look, it wouldn't be a deal breaker for me. For me, it would generally be like the mileage of the car, the age of the car, the condition of the car. I feel like that's more important. Yeah, good luck. I hope you find it on our site. Why does it keep jumping like this? It drives me nuts. Surely YouTube can fix that. Now I have to scroll all the way back up. Okay. Clip, I would pay to see you in the new M5 on the German Autobahn. It would be biblical. I've been on the Autobahn twice. The first time I was in a BMW X4 M something, and I was doing 220 k's an hour, and I had to move over, and I got overtaken by a guy on a motorbike, which was quite exciting. The second time, it was raining in the dark. I was in a VW Combi being driven by a mad German man at 180 k's an hour in the rain, in the dark. I think I mentioned that part. And I was on the front seat. It was me and Jacob Mashoko, actually. And to be honest, I was absolutely crapping myself. So those have been my two Autobahn experiences. But I wouldn't mind driving something like an M5 on the Autobahn. Maybe one day it'll happen. Divesh, how's it? Do you think the Prado will go hybrid? I think the Prado will go hybrid if Toyota develops a hybrid powertrain for the Hilux. Then I think we'll see the Prado go hybrid. Whether they do that or not remains to be seen. I have a feeling it will happen. I feel like hybrid buckies make sense more than electric buckies because with an electric bakkie, as soon as you're carrying a heavy load, as soon as you're towing something heavy, your range just like plummets through the floor. Whereas if you had a hybrid, at least you've got the sort of the best of both worlds. So I think hybrid bakkies make enormous sense. Whether the legacy manufacturers go for it, or they leave it to companies like Rivian and that sort of thing, remains to be seen. But I think we'll see hybrid bakkies. I have a feeling Nissan is working on it quite a lot. So usually it takes like one manufacturer to jump, and then they all sort of go for it. Mother City guy, Ciro, when you're in Cape Town, can I get a photo if I see you? Yeah, sure, no problem. I live in Cape Town, if that helps. Rion Peterson, good afternoon, Ciro. As a first-time car buyer, which is best? 2018 Polo, 2017 Polo, 2018 Golf with 250,000 Ks on it? No, that's too much. I think you're asking for problems there. Look, this is really sad to say, but personally, I wouldn't drive a Polo in South Africa. I just think there's too much risk, and it's a very sad thing to say. And the only reason the situation is like this is because the Polo has been so successful. So the demand for parts is so high that a Polo stolen and stripped down is worth a fortune, right, in parts. And I just think they're a security risk. I don't know if I'm overreacting. I've just heard too many stories, and I don't know. It's really sad. It's sad that in South Africa, crime prevents us from having nice things, but it is the reality. And that would put me off a Polo. So probably if it was me, I'd consider something else in that segment. I quite like the Kia Rio. I quite like the Hyundai i20. Can't really go wrong with a Mazda 2. It's quite a nice car. Yeah, quite a few things to choose in that segment. But that's just my thoughts. That's how I feel. Unfortunately, it sucks, but that's where things are. Hi, Chair. I need to sell my Renault Kwid, 29,000 the clock. I need to sell it, but I don't have the shortfall amount as business is down. Any advice? I sell because I need to dispose my fleet. Yeah, that sucks, man. What can you do? I think so obviously you want to sell the car and you want to settle the bank, right? I think your only option, if the value of the car is not enough to settle what you owe the bank, you're going to have to take a small personal loan, I think. I don't think banks allow you to finance the shortfall. Could be wrong. I actually must look into that because it's an interesting topic. But yeah, you might need to just take a small personal loan from your bank and settle your car finance, and then pay off the loan at the bank as fast as you can. Sorry you're in that position. That sucks. But it happens to a lot of people. Right, let's move on. Gareth Mills, 15 liters per 100. Sure, no, that is a lot. Wow, what can you do if your modern car is drinking so much? Look, I think it's worth having a conversation with Haval about it and just trying to get to the root of the problem. And maybe, they should run diagnostics on it, and maybe there is something wrong with the car. I assume this is an H6, I think you said. Check if there's something wrong with the car that's making it consume so much. I mean, when I drove H6, I think I remember seeing about 11, 12 to the 100. So 15 is out of whack by quite a way. So I think some problem diagnosis needs to happen there. Also, hit the forums as well. Just if you Google the problem, I mean, there's forums around the world. People chat about these problems all the time. See if maybe you can diagnose it yourself. But yeah, a conversation with Haval is where I would start on that. Yeah, sorry, that's quite tough. I hope you sort it out. Tabang, how's it? This is quite relative, but in general, what are your thoughts on the previous Gen M2 comp as a daily driver? Look, the previous Gen M2 for me was a really exciting car, but it was almost too exciting. Like, I genuinely felt quite intimidated by that car. It was really snappy. It was really, really snappy. Actually, at Cars Awards testing one year at Geratech, I went through a hairpin and just full opposite lock with traction control on. Yeah, that M2 was snappy. That short wheelbase. Look, it's a cool car. It's an exciting car to drive. It sounds good, looks good. It's a cool daily, but just be careful, especially in the wet. And I would say put good tires, put the best tires you can afford on that car. Nice sticky Michelins or something like that. Ria Betsway, how's it going? Hi, Ciro. What is your advice on purchasing between Alfa Romeo Giulia or Honda Civic Sport? Which one would you recommend going for? Wow. Don't think I've ever been asked this question. Look, I think it's quite safe to say that you're probably going to have less problems in the Honda. I expect a sniper to take me out from the Alfa dealership imminently, but I think that's fair to say. So for sort of more hassle-free motoring experience, I'd probably lean towards the Honda. However, the Giulia is a very nice car. It's really nice to drive. If you can find one low mileage that's within warranty, I don't think it's a bad shout. You'll enjoy it. You will enjoy it. It's difficult. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know the exact two cars you're looking at, but that would be my general advice. Yeah, good luck with your purchasing decision. Rebo, awesome. I'd like to pay you a visit soonest. Is that me or Mother City guy? I'm not sure. Gareth says Havel dealt with the issue well. Great after sales service. There we go. Great to hear. That's awesome. Okay, people are just chatting in the comments. Good for you guys. We're making friends here. We're helping people make friends. Martin, do you know of anyone who deals with Renault Megans besides the dealers? I don't, but you're welcome to try my mechanic. He works on all my cars, all my friends' cars, all my colleagues' cars. The business is called Munniks Performance Center. You can find them on Instagram or Google Maps, Munniks. Chat to the guys there. They're super helpful. They work on everything. They'll generally try and find a solution. If you're not in Cape Town, unfortunately, it's difficult to say. I don't really know the Joburg scene too well, but it's probably something that'll come up in a forum somewhere, or maybe someone on the stream will be able to help you. So, guys, if you can help Martin, please put a comment on the chat. Gareth, the poor fuel consumption was related to software. Main ECU had to be reset, and now I get around 11. There we go. Problem solved. Well, mostly. Wonderful. Good to hear. Lance, how's it? I'm looking to buy my wife a small runaround. What are your thoughts on a Ford Fiesta 1-liter EcoBoost versus the 1.6 ST? Oh, the ST is way more fun. I'm sure you and your wife will enjoy driving that. It's the kind of car where you take it to Franschhoek Pass on the weekend, and it's an absolute blast. I love the Fiesta ST. Probably one of the best little performance cars ever made. So I'd buy that. Why not? I mean, the fuel consumption difference probably won't even be that big, to be honest. So it just depends on how you drive. So yeah, buy the one that's more fun. Nevishan, love your car collection. What car will you add to your garage next? I'm working on something. I probably shouldn't buy it. Don't want to say what it is yet. You know what? I love the idea. I love that. You know, none of my cars actually cost that much. Like all of them cost less than like a Polo, Vivo almost. You know, so I don't really buy expensive cars, but I love the idea of like interesting cars at a good price that have been well looked after. So I recently found a Alfa Romeo GT, which has the V6 engine. it's in a collection of 62 cars. This guy's obsessed. He's got like freaking, I don't know, 20 Alfa Romeos. This car is immaculate, and it's at a really interesting price. He wants 175 grand for it. It's probably a little bit much for the Alfa GT, but you know, that really floats my boat. That like turns me on. Sorry, that's an overshare, but that, you know, I mean, an Alfa Romeo 3-liter V6, black on black, mint condition, low mileage, for the same price as a Renault Kwid. Like, I'm sorry. Am I crazy? I don't know. I don't think I'm crazy. You know, I think that's a good idea. I really do. And I would much rather drive, no offense to Renault Kwids. Actually, they're terrible. All the offense to Renault Kwids. But I would much rather drive a freaking V6 Alfa Romeo than a budget hatchback. Call me crazy. Maybe I'm mad. I could have lost my mind. It's very possible. Anyway, I'm also looking at a Subaru Forester because I need an SUV, and those are quite cheap at the moment. So yeah, that's me. I love a bargain. It activates all my poor white genes. It's like a buffet. Like, you know, when I go to a buffet, I can't control myself. You know, it's too exciting. Right. Sibu, how's it? Hey, Ciro, happy to hear the RX is treating you well. My big question today is, when do motoring publications like you guys take new interns in? So I created an internship program in the video department. We've got our first intern. We're going to keep him for a while and give him a chance to learn to become a filmmaker. And then we'll probably take on another one. I'm thinking 2024. Sorry, I know that's really far away, but the reality is that we don't have too much capacity for it. I'm very passionate about training young South Africans to do what we do, but at the same time, you know, we have to balance the interest of the business with the internship program. So as soon as we're ready to take on a new person, I'm going to say pencil in January 2024. We'll make it known on our social media, and we will welcome all applications. Sorry, I know that's probably not the answer you wanted, but that's where things are at the moment. Omfemetse Moeng, how's it? Do you think Mazda has listened to the South African market and actually will upgrade the Estina to include a turbo, or perhaps can we expect the 2.5 liter offered in the US? Really tough to say. Sorry, I don't know if I have an answer for you there. What gets homologated for the US market doesn't necessarily mean it will get homologated for our market. Also depends on where in the world it's made. So that's a tough one. Maybe the best thing to do is to tweet at Mazda and see if you get a reply from them. Right, obviously my comments have jumped again. Tabang, your thoughts on the 2017 to 2019 3.2 Ford XLT Buckies. Love your reviews, by the way, especially the cooler box tests. Thanks. Wife always asks me if her car can fit a cooler box. Hey, we've started something. The Ranger, yeah. Look, I think, as I was saying to some of the guys earlier, you know, the viewers earlier, you just want to be careful when buying any used car, to be honest. You know, try and get it inspected if you can. I have heard issues with Ranger automatic gearboxes. That's quite a known problem. So just be careful. You know, try and pull the car's service history and warranty history and see if anything terrible has gone wrong with it. Maybe they've already replaced the gearbox. Like I said, see if you can get the car inspected. I've sort of lost confidence in Decra lately. I don't know, maybe that's just mainstream media sort of, you know, fear-mongering. But, you know, if you can get the car to a workshop or something and get it inspected, I think that's a good way to go. Yeah, look, Rangers are generally, in my opinion, some of the best buckies to drive. You know, we took 6 buckies to the desert last year, and my favorite buckie was the Ranger. It was the nicest one to drive for me. So they're good products. They're enjoyable products. Just make sure that the one that you're specifically looking at has been looked after. I think that's the best thing you can do for yourself. I witnessed a proper hiding last week. A new BMW 750 raced a C63 on a well-known highway. Very naughty. The C63 did not stand a chance. We had to tap off as traffic did not allow the fun to continue. Yeah, look, I can't advocate for racing on the road. Yeah, be careful. Not, yeah, just be safe. Don't put other road users in danger, is what I would say. Shudesh, have you driven the new 1.8 diesel BMW X1 and what do you think about it? Literally, it just arrived. It's outside. I don't know if it's a diesel, but they just dropped it off. So I'll be driving it this week. We do have a launch review on our website, though, by one of my colleagues. I can't remember who went on that launch. Lebohang, how's it? What risks should we be looking at for when car facelifts or new models are released when driving a previous generation model? There's no risk. No risk at all. The only issue is that perhaps when the facelift comes out, it might affect the value, the used value of the car you're driving. But there's nothing you can do about that. That's just how the motor industry works. Every model life is about 7 years, and in the middle they do a facelift, and it affects, the used car values. That's just how things are. It's how the manufacturers play the game. Does Mandela's Cressida still exist? That's actually such an interesting question. So I've read quite a bit about this. The story goes that Mandela was meant to be picked up in a Mercedes-Benz, and at the last minute, the ANC thought that's not a great idea. Let's rather get him into something less fancy. And they borrowed a Cressida from a dealership in Cape Town. The car was then taken back to the dealer after it was used by Mandela, and it was then sold. But apparently, no one really recorded the VIN number of the car that was used to pick up Mandela. So it's now been sold who knows how many times. Maybe it's even been written off. There's somebody came out and said that their one was Mandela's one, but the thing is, there's absolutely no way to prove it. And obviously, there's an incentive in saying I have Mandela's car because it means your car will be worth an absolute fortune, right? So, from what I understand, there is no way to prove. There are no records as to the VIN number of the Cressida which picked up Mandela, which really, really sucks. Some people have tried to find it and been unsuccessful, which is a pity, because that would be an amazing piece of history in our country. Interestingly, Mercedes-Benz, the South African factory, did build Mandela an S500, a special one, which they gave to him and which he did use, and they have it in their museum, if I'm not mistaken. We have an article about it on our site. Should I wait to buy electric or hybrid? It entirely depends on what you need your car to do, right? And if you can afford to maybe have 2 cars in your household. For me, electric cars are the best commuter cars, hands down. And yes, you can road trip in an electric car. I've done it. Lots of people have done it. There's increasingly a large charging network across the country. A company called Grid Cars is putting in a lot of effort making sure that you can drive on all the national roads with your electric car. It's just slower. You just take more time to refuel or recharge, but it is possible. But in my opinion, and what I would buy an electric car to do is for commuting, running around, making sure you can charge it at your house so that you get the benefit of cheap electricity, because to charge in the public network is actually quite expensive. And then you've got probably the best commuter vehicle ever. They are quiet, they're comfortable, they're cheap to run, and they're reliable. So, excuse me a second, my mouth's going a bit dry. But that was sparkling water, which was probably a mistake. TV static. A hybrid, to me, the car that makes the most sense to me for South Africa right now is a PHEV, a plug-in hybrid electric. And we drove one recently. It's not for sale, unfortunately. The Toyota RAV4 PHEV. The video is on our website. I was so impressed with that car. You can do up to 80 Ks of range on full electric. And then you have the backup of the petrol motor with a fuel tank. For me, that is the best solution. However, the downsides of PHEV is that the drivetrain is really complicated. It's essentially two drivetrains, right? So you've got electric motors, a big battery, a big-ish battery, petrol motors, and all the complications which come with ICE engines. And so that means that PHEVs are very expensive, which means that they pretty much offset all the fuel savings that you might have. But as a practical solution, PHEVs are awesome. Normal hybrids, what we call closed loop hybrids, which are hybrids which charge themselves, like the ones Toyota sells, the Corolla Cross and the Corolla Sedan, for instance, and the Haval H6 HEV and the Jolion HEV. Those are also cool. They're good solutions. They bring your commuting costs down. See, there's the sparkling water. I knew it was a bad idea. They bring your commuting costs down, definitely, without a doubt. But you're paying more for them up front, right? So is the fuel saving going to offset your initial purchase? The other question, which is up in the air right now, is what is the resale value on hybrids going to be? Are you going to lose out? I personally don't think the resale value is going to suffer too much. The batteries have really long warranties and quite long lifespans, so I don't think that's a huge concern, but it remains to be seen because we've never, even though the Prius was sold in South Africa for a long time, was in very small numbers, and now that Toyota has brought out hybrids that are roughly the same price as a normal car, we're now seeing much more of them sold, and Haval as well. I'm sure we'll sell quite a few of them as well. So in 3 to 4 to 5 years' time, we should get an answer to the secondhand pricing question. Personally, I'd if I could afford one right now, I'd buy an EV. I really would. I'm lucky. I've got a couple of cool cars for the weekend that make a noise and that have manual gearboxes, and I would buy an EV for Monday to Friday, without a doubt. Just make sure you can charge at home. Number one priority of an EV is make sure you can charge the thing at home. Okay, I spoke on that topic quite a lot. Would you recommend a specific aftermarket warranty and maintenance plan company? So, unfortunately, all of my cars are too old to have a warranty, an aftermarket warranty. So I don't have one. I've never shopped for one. But you just got to go through the schedule of what they cover and how much they cover it to. Some of them allow you to sort of make your own cover. So, for instance, you can add extra cover on the gearbox or whatever the case is. But just shop around, It's one of those things where you kind of got to do your homework. It's like being back in maths class in standard 8, unfortunately. Chira, do you like the Ghost Squad? I love them. Excellent initiative by the city of Cape Town. Mind Freeze 083. Hello, Mind Freeze. Chira, when is the new Grand Vitara coming out? No idea. Maybe one of my colleagues knows and they can put it on the chat. Nelly Siwe, hi there. Would you recommend buying a new RAV4 right now or wait for Toyota to announce the new gen? When did this RAV4 come out? When did I first drive a RAV4? I think it's quite a while ago. I think I drove a new RAV4 about 5 years ago. So there should be a new-ish one coming. There should be one coming out probably in the next 2 years. Don't know if that's too much for you to wait. It might be. For me, the RAV4 to have though is the hybrid. I must be honest, I was not impressed with the 2-liter CVT combination in the RAV4, the normal RAV4. It hasn't got enough torque, and the CVT just drones if you're in a hurry. So if you are going to buy a RAV4 right now, I'd buy the hybrid. That's a really, really nice car. It's a really good car. That's actually I'd happily drive one of those every day. Mpho Solele. It's like sitting right here. What are your thoughts on buying a used Range Rover SVR? Yeah, make sure you have deep pockets. I think that's pretty much it. Side Act, your thoughts on the Tiggo 7? Was thinking if you're going for the top of the range 4, you may as well go for a demo 7. Yeah, I agree with you. I'd buy the 7 over the 4. It's not a massive price gap, and you just get so much more car. I really like the Tiggo 7. It's actually my favorite cherry. Johan de Toy, any advice on buying cars with cash? Yeah. Look, I know some people who do, and I know some people who prefer to finance. Basically, the maths of it, and maths was never really my strong point. So this I caveat this by saying that I could be wrong, but I don't think I am, but I might be. But maybe just get someone smarter than me to double check the maths. But basically, you're gonna finance a car at the prime lending rate is now 10.75. I think it's gone up so much. You're probably going to be given 12%, 13%, even maybe as much as 14%. Now, if you were to take that cash and put it in a bank account, there's no way you'll get 14%, right? So that means that you have to actively invest that cash to try and make it work for you at more than 14%. So in other words, can you make a return of more than what you're financing the car at on that cash? Because if you take this pile of cash and you lock it into a vehicle, there's nothing you can do with that money, right? It's in that car. That's it. But it's saving you money, obviously, in interest, because financing a car, you end up paying a lot more for the car. So that's why it is better to buy cash. However, if you know you can take that money, that same money, and put it in investments or actively investments and make more money back, then you can use that surplus money to pay off your car, and you'll come out at a profitable point. So it's a great position of privilege to be in, to be able to buy a car cash. Not many people are, but that's essentially the maths that you have to consider, and it relies on you being or knowing someone or having someone that you pay to invest that money so that it outperforms the finance arrangement. It's an interesting one, you know. Good luck. Let me know how it goes. Clearball, how's it? On that Polo issue, my brother had his LED lights stripped. Yesterday, he came back with a 64,000 Rand quotation from Volkswagen. Ouch. Sorry, man. That sucks. Ashley says the Grand Vitara officially launches on 18 April. Awesome. Thanks, Ash. Ashley's chatting to Paul, my two colleagues talking to each other. Mother City guy, thanks for the kind words. I appreciate it. I really do. Thank you very much. Rion, if I consider the Suzuki Baleno GLX, is that a good choice? I trust your judgment. Yeah, so we have a video on the channel where we drove the Baleno and the Starlet back to back. I mean, next to each other, side by side. Basically, it comes down to a little bit of spec and your warranty, but you can extend the warranty on the Toyota for really not much money at all. So maybe the Toyota will beat the Suzuki out on resale value. It's very possible, but you can't go wrong. To be honest, if we're just talking about the Baleno as a product, for me, it's a really good product. It was so refreshing driving the Baleno and the Starlet, because for ages, I have not felt like the cars that we test drive justify their price tags. And then when I drove the Baleno and I drove the Starlet, I was like, finally, a car that feels like great value for money, you know, like the car matches the price tag. So yeah, I recommend those cars to everyone. I think they're great cars. But go check out our video. You'll see everything you want to know about those two cars. Cecil, what would you choose between Jolyon Super Luxury or Cherry 7? I'd go for the Cherry, I prefer it. I prefer the way it looks. Prefer the interior. Yeah, I'd put my money there. I like the big panoramic roof. I think the Haval also has a panoramic roof, actually. But anyway, yeah, that'd be my personal choice. What do you think of the Ferrari Puro Sangue? How do you pronounce that? Puro Sangue. Puro Sangue. Puro Sang? I don't know. Probably means something cool in Italian. Someone will tell me now what it means. What do I think of it? Yeah, I mean, it's nice. I don't know. I struggle to get excited about new supercars. I must be honest. They just seem so out of reach. I mean, I'd love to be able to afford, a Ferrari Pura sandwich. But I mean, if you gave, I think they're coming into the country. I think 5 are coming in at 12 million rand a pop. And like, if you gave me 12 million rand to go spend on cars, I would have an amazing collection of cars, like more than I could ever hope to even remember. I probably would forget which cars I even own. So I don't know. Even if I had the money, I don't know if I'd spend 12 million rand on one car. But hey, I mean, I don't know, if you're a bazillionaire, it probably doesn't matter, Tyron, can you feature the RS6 or RS7? We have films on both of those cars. We have 2 films on the new RS6. No, 3. We have drag races. We have reviews. We haven't filmed the new RS7, but we filmed the old one. Yeah, go check them out. You'll find them on our channel. If you are not planning on tuning the M2 comp, please get the non-comp M2 LCI version. Thank me later. Okay, everyone's just chatting to each other. Rare Betsware, thank you. It's a pleasure, no problem. Max, how's it? Obviously, this thing jumped again. Why does it do this? Surely YouTube can fix that. Max, hello. Hey, sure. I appreciate your reviews. Thank you. I'm a Namibian automotive content creator. Just wanted to know what your advice is on growing my channel. Also, Corolla Quest, yay or nay, as a long-termer. Yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with a Corolla Quest. I mean, it's sort of like I don't know, it's like the peanut butter sandwich of motoring. It's good for you. It's relatively interesting, but it's pretty, run of the mill. As an everyday car, it's fine. In terms of growing your channel, look, it's extremely difficult. I mean, I am so lucky. I got this company behind me. They backed me. They gave me money to make videos. They paid me a salary so that I could afford to eat and pay my rent. I mean, as far as lucking out in the content creation world, I really am grateful for what I have. It's difficult to grow a channel. I would say, though, that it is much easier to grow an audience on Instagram and TikTok than it is to grow an audience on YouTube. So I would actually focus firstly on Instagram and TikTok, and then pushing people to your YouTube to try and grow your YouTube. That's what I would do. If I was starting right now, I'm not even sure I would focus on YouTube. It is incredibly hard to build a YouTube channel. So yeah, I hope that helps. Divesh, if you could build the ultimate sports sedan, what parts would you take from which car? I'd probably take the 6.2 liter V8 from a Merc, and this is heresy, but probably put it in like an E46 M3 body, and not with the SMG gearbox, worst gearbox ever. And yeah, I don't know, a combination of those two would be pretty cool. That 4.2 liter engine from the Audi RS4 was also amazing. That'd be something cool to use. I love sports sedans. Fast sedans are some of my favorite cars. I think Chira needs to add a badass 6-liter Chev Lumina Ute. Funnily enough, I've been looking at Chevy Luminas, but the sedans, the Utes are not my favorite. But I love to own a Ute Chevy sedan, a Lumina. I'd love to own one. I think they're such cool cars. Lance, do we have the 5-door Fiesta ST and SA? No, unfortunately, we don't. Only the 3-door. Kratos agrees with me. Cool. VARGST says RAV4 hybrid or Audi Q3. I'd personally take the RAV4. Would you buy Audi Q7 V12 TDI or a Touareg V10 TDI to tow a Jurgen's exclusive caravan? Just for pure shits and giggles, I would buy a V12 Audi Q7. I think they are awesome. I remember driving that car and having the best time. Refillware, how's it? What kind of problems you might encounter on Fortune new models 2.8 Auto? Look, it's basically a bucky underneath. It's a really solid platform. It's a really reliable platform. I haven't heard of any specific issues. Look, all cars potentially can have issues, but I think as far as reliability goes, I don't think you can go too wrong with a Toyota 2.8 drivetrain. I shouldn't drink sparkling water, but I'm thirsty. Nigel, what's your thoughts on the reliability of the 2018 X3 2-liter D, a 10-year bulletproof car, or not so? These reliability questions are so hard to answer. It's very hard to say. First of all, it's hard to even talk about new cars' reliability. Second of all, I don't know. I don't know anything about the specific car you're looking at. It's really difficult for me to comment. Like I've said a few times in the broadcast, I don't mind repeating myself, but just be careful and do as much research as you can on the specific car that you're buying. That is, I think, the most important thing. Mitch, how's it? What's your new M2 clip yesterday? Wondering if it's that much of a better car compared to the M240i, considering a 400K price difference. Yeah, no, look, it's a much better car. The M240 for me is more like a GT car. It's not really a sports car. Well, it is kind of, but it leans more towards GT. It's very fast, but it's not like a hair-raising sports car experience. Whereas the M2 really, you got to drive that thing. It wants to be driven. Makes a lovely noise. Looks good, in my opinion. Only in red though, not in blue. The manual box is awesome. If you wanted one specifically. But at the same time, someone gave me an M240 to drive, I wouldn't be upset. Is the new RS3 better than the previous RS3? Yeah, I suppose so. We were chatting about it earlier on the stream. I don't know. Like I said to someone else on the stream, the latest RS3 didn't give me the fizz, Maybe it's just me. I don't know. But it didn't do it for me. I'd happily drive one every day, but it wouldn't be like, I wouldn't run after one and desperately try and get one. Guys, been going for an hour and 10 minutes. I'm a bit knackered. What I'm going to do, I'm going to sort of try speed through these questions and see if I can help everyone. And then I think I'm going to say goodbye and see you next week. Model changes and facelifts don't have a 7-year Hyundai Kia who already have facelifts either out of markets. Okay, I'm not really following you there. Hi, Ciro, what do you think of the old VW Beetle for a first-time car buyer? Make sure you're good with spanners or someone who's good with a spanner. They're also incredibly slow, unbelievably slow. Not great on highways. Maybe try something else. What are your thoughts on the new Suzuki Jimny 4-door version? Yeah, I love a Jimny. I think the 4-door will be super cool. I can't wait to drive one. Ciro, please do a drag race between Polo Vivo GT and a Polo Comfort Line. Okay, we will try. Hi, Ciro, do you think we will get cars like Suzuki that run on CNG in India? I think you can. There is a company that does those conversions in South Africa. I know they're doing them for Toyota Quantums. I think you can get it done. I'm not sure if manufacturers will bring them in, maybe. But I think if you want, you can get your car converted. For how many years can one realistically expect to purchase a big engine ICE car in SA, like the new Mustang, for example? Look, I had an interview with the head of Audi, and he said they'll be selling ICE cars in South Africa with RS badges and all the rest of it up until 2036, I think he said. So I think that's sort of the ballpark where manufacturers are working on at the moment. The point you're making is why I can legislate for buying older flagship vehicles with larger engines, V8s and the like. Everything balances out in the end. Yes, I think maybe legislate was an autocorrect there, but I'm following what you're saying. I love old cars with big engines myself. Not sure if you've covered it yet, but I've seen pics of the new Mini on Twitter. What's your thoughts? I haven't seen it yet. Sorry, man, I missed it. Cash is king. Our economy is just too unpredictable. Yeah, there's some merit there, I suppose, but still, work on the maths. 2018, 2019 Jetta, what's your thoughts on that? Yeah, nice car. The last Jettas were cool. It's going to be out of warranty now, so just be careful. Love your videos. Keep up the great work. Thanks for your answer with regards to Cherry 7. No problem. Thank you for watching, for joining us. Where are we? What do you think of the 2014 Polo Vivo? Yeah, I mean, I've made my thoughts known on the safety issues regarding Polos, but they remain good cars and they are pretty easy to keep on the road. So, yeah, just you just have to make up your mind about Polo ownership, I suppose. What used car would you recommend for a first timer with a max budget of 300,000 Rand? New or used? Whenever people ask me for advice, they never say whether they're shopping new or used, and it's like a critical piece of information. What would you choose between the new Mocha and the new Captur? I haven't driven the Captur, but the Mocha is really nice. If you can afford it, I was pretty impressed by that car. Hi, Chiro. I'm 15 and my dad had to sell his Peugeot 206 GTI, but the car was the most fun I've ever had fun in. Maybe you should consider buying one or driving one. Yeah, they were cool. 206 GTIs were really cool. It's a sad that they don't sell them anymore. Puro sandwich, lol. Italian for thoroughbred. There we go. Thank you very much. As an Italian, I should probably know that, but I don't. Sorry. F21 BMW M135i. Okay, here's a secret about me, which is actually not really a secret because I tell everyone. I do not know BMW model codes. I'm good with like E30 to like E46 and E39, and then I'm lost. G80, F20, P65, no idea. Sorry. Send me a picture. Sibu also telling me what Puro sandwich means. Thank you. Hey, Chiro, what is the difference between the M135i and the X2 135i? Just the body shape, really. I think they have the same chassis and drivetrain. Hi, Chiro, just wanted to ask which entry-level bakkie 4x4 would be great for a relatively new driver. Look, I think shop around, I could say go buy a Hilux, but you might like the Triton or you might like the Ranger. I mean, the price points are obviously differ on those cars. So just whatever your budget is, shop in your budget. And do you need a 4x4 will come with low range? Do you really need a 4x4? That can save you money if you don't, if you just need a 4x2. So, but this is sort of half the fun of shopping for cars is go drive all of them and see which one you like the most. I think General Motors made a mistake by going away with the Chevy Sonic RS. It's a proper useful hot hatch that would not cost you 2 kidneys and a pancreas. Yeah, the Sonic wasn't a bad car. I'm looking forward to the updates on the Opel Corsa Peugeot 208 later this year. Hope I can see you reviewing them. Yeah, we should do. Yes, the F21 M135i has the N55 engine. Now you're just throwing more codes at me. I'm lost. I love how it's amazing how so many South Africans know model codes and engine codes of BMWs, but like any other brand. And it's like, what's the engine code of like the last Hyundai Palisade? No one knows, it's just BMWs. It's amazing. It's amazing how much South Africans love that brand. Anyway, okay, I think I'm done, guys. I've been going for nearly an hour and 20 minutes. I'm knackered. I've talked myself into a corner. I'm extremely thirsty. Thank you very much for joining. I appreciate it. It's been wonderful to have you on the stream. If you would like to rewatch the video, it will be uploaded to our YouTube channel forever, and you can keep coming back to it and watching me talk nonsense for an hour and a half. So you'll find it on our channel as soon as a couple minutes after we end the stream. Thank you very much for joining. Always a pleasure. And we will try and do one of these a week if I'm not shooting or have COVID or in America with COVID. Okay, bye. Be safe. Cheers, guys.